Well, I got a data set which consists of the students' performance in exams, and the source would be the Kaggle account, and with the data set has been abstracted from, and you find the description where this data set, which consists of the marks which is secured by the students in the various subjects like math, reading, and writing, and this data is secured for the admission of the University of the North Texas from the students which is given from the various part of the world. Well, you can see the 1,000 students evaluations for the admission into the University of the North Texas for their master's degree. And you can find the record ID, which is the enrollment ID for their admission, and the gender would be the male and the female, and the race and the ethnicity would be the group A, B, C, D, E. And this would be the parental level of the education where you can see bachelor's degree, some degree, master's degree, associate degree, and high school. And you can see the graduation year of their undergraduate, and you can also see the missing values in this column where lunch is divided into standard and free and reduced, and you can see the test preparation which is categorized into none and completed, and you can see the scores of the three subjects: math score, reading score, and the writing score, where there are nearly 1,000 evaluations of students for the admission. And for cleaning of data, you have to just see what are the missing values of present, and this is the main column where most of the missing values are present. So for this, you can see in the clean data, I clean the data by evaluating the dates to it, and I also fill some of the data in the race and ethnicity which filled manually, and you can see the graduation year. Well, I'll show an example of how do I just fill my data. So if you see 75 2001, uh, and they were 1, 2, 3, 4. There were 4 empty spaces. And if you want to just drag the button of the bottom line so that you may find the value on the alternative day for it. So you can see the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the following alternative days. So you can fill over here. This is the way I cleaned all my data to it. Uh, and my first goal in this data set to find the maximum and the minimum values of the subjects of the math, writing, and reading. While you can see the goals, and the first goal will be the maximum, where you can see the writing, and in the maximum we used max function where to find the maximum value of the writing score, reading score, and the math score. So it's 100, of course, and you find the minimum value of the following subjects, and this is also by selecting the minimum function and selecting the data of the column which you are required, and you can find range by calculating maximum minus minimum, or just you can or, and you can see the writing, reading, and math, where the math would be 100, and you can feel some of the students acquired by the 0, and the sum would be the sum function which is used for selecting the math, the reading, and the writing scores. where it is calculated by the 1,000 evaluations, and the VLOOKUP. And my next goal would be the VLOOKUP function, and where the gender tends to male and the parental level of the education. So I want to find the what is the parental level of the education for the male. So the for the answer of associate degree, we would be using this formula where the VLOOKUP would be the function using it, and S25 is the value what we look up for male, and the B1 to the M1001 would be the selecting the data from from B, and this would be the three. And if you need the false for the exact location, we have to use we have to need to use false. So the for the VLOOKUP is the associate degree is male, and you can see over there also for the male, yeah, it's an associate degree. So and I also need to find the average of the three subjects like math, reading, and writing. We just use the average function for this solution. You can find over there, and by selecting the respective column. And I also found out the graduation year, day, and date, and which you can see by this graduation year. And this day of the week you can see for the enrollment day, you can see for the Thursday for the graduation year, which you can see the 5th of January 2006 of the graduation of their undergraduate, which is on Thursday, and it's in the fifth day of that year, where I was calculated by all the 1,000 evaluations, day of the week and the day of the number. So what we can find, the 348 is a maximum which you can select over there, and the 5 would be the minimum by selecting the column you need. And by selecting the clean data and inserting using the pivot chart and the table, I used to find the fourth goal, and which would be the calculating of the scores of the subjects by dividing upon their test preparation codes in the respect of their range. So you can see over there. And well, we have the test preparation course completed and the none, and the completed would be this and the none would be this, which is used by the students. And I feel that the 1746 would be the highest priority, which is known as green. You can find the some of the writing scores, and in the test preparation 9 you can see the 28916 would be the top, which is the sum of the reading scores. By this you can find out the other students perform based on their test preparation. While in the goal 5, analyze I should predict the how many students had been graduated in a respective years in the respective of the gender. So from the 2000, 2001, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can see the male, female, where 2005 would be the top year, where you can see most of the students graduated in that year. from the undergraduation course. And you can see the female count would be more, 518, and you can see the male 482. And in 2005 you can see 159 of females and 138 of male. Well, and in the sixth goal, generally I use the student based on their race was some of the writing score. So you can see the group A, B, C, D, E. Well, I taken of course the writing score because most of the most of the students who does not want to write, and which is the least average in the score secured by the students. You can see over there. You can see over there. Sorry, this is, yeah. So you can find the group C students have secured more marks in the writing test. So they were very much interested and concentrating on their studies because you can find the least prioritized average of the scores where you find most of the students studying their bit to increase the average. So group C students are more focused on their studies rather than B, A, D, E. And you can see the completed and the non test score over there. And the next goal would be the reading, math, and the writing score where you can see. And these are done by just selecting the cleaned data and just going over there and using the Pareto to chart. Where this kind of chart will make us to feel very efficiently to look over the data and easily understand the data of the structures. And you can see 9862 to 103 where you can see the toppers would be present over there, the most efficient students, and the list would be the 37, 7221 there was 0. Next to list would be the 22 1 to 27 point. There was some nearly 3 to 4%. And you can see for the math score, and you can see the highest score and over here 95.429, which is nearly to 20%. And you also can see the writing score were 94.8, and it is nearly to 30%, 20% over there. And you can see the descriptive statistics where I feel that the average of the math score is very less, so I want to focus more on the average students so that the university can gain more accessible the low grading marks in the subject. And you can see the mean would be the 66 and the median would be the 66 and the mode would be the 65, which is very least, and the standard deviation 15.16308, and the screwness will be minus 0.278, and the range would be 100 and the minimum is 0 and the maximum is 100. So you can see that they are the students who got the minimum of 0 also. and you can see the sum 6089. And well, by analyzing this kind of data, I think the University of the North Texas Graduate Council will know the education status of their admitted students, so that they can develop their knowledge into the respective subjects which is least prioritized by the students, so that both the institution and the students would be beneficial by improving the standards of education by knowing this kind of analyzing trends. So I think it would be the great process to cover all the analyzing trends. Thank you.